Hey you guys, my name is Erin Willett-Hall and I just wanted to chat with you for just a second and talk to you about a few things in this business. So when I got started in this business, I actually was doing this for, to pay for a few significant bills in our life for my husband and myself and our family. And private school means everything to us. So we wanted to pay for private school, but we really didn't want to change our lifestyle and we didn't want to, miss out on a lot of things that we wanted to do with our kids because all of our money was going to private school. So when I got started, we only had the night cream. And, I just followed the system, sampled a little bit, really shared a ton of pictures with people, and really contacted a lot of people on a regular basis. So a lot of, high touch interaction and a lot of social media, a ton of social media actually. Um, and as the months went on, it was really, really hard for me to build a team. I now have a team of thousands. I don't even know how many at this moment. Maybe 15,000. I don't know. So, anyways, I got started, and it all has to start somewhere, right? You can't just wake up one day and have some significant leadership role or be a car earner or anything like that. So, I started the same way that everyone else has started with, or not everyone else, the way most people have started with zero prior experience in this type of work or type of business. And it took me 4 months to build a team of like 4 people. Okay. And right around that mark, I was doing really, really well with the sales part of it, really well with the sales part of it. And my whole recruiting mentality and, trying to build a team thing all of a sudden switched. So 2 different things happened. One, I felt like I was making very, very significant side income that had completely changed our life. Make no mistake, $600 to $900 a month can change anyone's life. So it absolutely had loosened up our budget enough to where we could breathe. And had it never grown from that point, I would have never stopped doing what I was doing then and making that same amount of extra income a month. I mean, to this day, it would still be, if nothing else had changed, it would still be paying for very large bills in my family, including but not limited to private school, which is a huge thing for us. So I had a team of 4 people, begged and pleaded to get people to start this with me. And they did, finally. And what really changed for me, like I said, was 2 things. And that one was talking to people, changing my approach as far as saying, hey, I don't have a huge team. I don't know how to build a huge team. But what I can tell you is that I'm making very significant money, shared with them what it's paying for and how it's changing my life. And they should probably consider doing it because it could really do the same thing for them. These were people that were in the same situation that my family was in. And, we weren't dirt poor. We weren't living in a tent, anything like that. But like I said, private school was going to eventually, with private high school, I was going to eventually kind of suck us dry of all of our extra money, right? So I knew our whole life was going to change within 10 years. And we were going to be living, off of pennies, or it would feel like it anyways. So I started talking to people about how it helped me and how it could help them and how it could help them without building some massive team that most people can't even fathom or imagine. So the way I really shared this was with a helper mentality. I had no idea by building, a very small team that would really change me or change, my income or how I live or anything like that. It completely changed into, just like sharing some great thing off of Amazon, some great product or whatever, and saying, oh my gosh, you got to try this. It's so awesome. That's kind of how the way things changed for me. I was just like, look, you might not even have any interest in doing this at all. You might not care what your skin looks like. Not everybody does, but most people do. In the US, I would say 98% of the families could use an extra line of income, and it could change their life. So that's kind of the angle I started taking. It was very organic. It wasn't some planned out, meditated strategy. It was me literally helping one person at a time and loving every second of it. And, high-fiving people and, oh my gosh, awesome, extra money. I got to get this pair of shoes I've always wanted. Or I got to, I just paid for my son's tuition for the entire year. I'll never forget that day. I wasn't even a car earner yet. That actually became my story. I was like, I made enough to pay for Jackson's whole year in private school. And people were like, whoa, that's crazy. And it is crazy. It is absolutely crazy that you can do that in this business with no boss in spare time. I worked my business, in carpool, lunch hour, in the dark room at work, developing x-rays as a dental hygienist. Yes, I'm serious. And it can be done. It can absolutely be done. And you have to share that part. So that's a really strong piece. Right now, a lot of you guys are making extremely significant money blowing up this new comp plan. So you have to think about how you can approach people and say, hey, you know what? You might not care about your skin. Not everybody does. You might not care about, doing any type of business like this, but I just want to make sure you know what it's doing for my family. And if you feel like you could benefit just like we are, you might want to look into it. And, no strings attached. I can tell you all about it. If you still decide no way, that's fine. But I just want to make sure you know, and you thoroughly know the details so you can not regret later not getting in this. So there's that angle. So a few months in, I think I was about 4 months into the business, and I marched to the beat of my own drum. I don't necessarily do things the way everybody else does. That's just how I am. This is a henna tattoo that went wrong. It was supposed to be a music note, and then I accidentally fell asleep and messed it up. So if you're like me in ADD and you just got distracted and you said, did Erin Hall get a tattoo? I didn't. I have one, but I didn't. That's not legit tattoo. That's henna tattoo gone wrong, okay? So now you know. Now you can tune back into what I'm saying. So I was probably about 4 months into the business, and Mary Chipper, God love her, and I tell her this, so you're more than welcome to share this with her. She drove me crazy, you all. Every month, in the beginning, you're going to fast start qualify, you're going to hit iPad, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I was like, this woman is going to drive me away because I think I am different than everybody else. I am self-driven, so I don't need somebody to push me along per se, although it is nice to a certain extent. But I just do things my way. And I know that's probably a little bit wrong, but luckily my way is pretty congruent with the system. Okay. So she kept pushing me, just about made me want to change my phone number practically. And I love this woman. She is one of my bestest friends in the whole world. But she called one day and said, oh, you're going to go to conference. And I'm like, oh my God, this woman is really over the top. Okay. Like, I'm making significant side income. I'm very happy. I am so happy about helping this person right now. They're all making the same amount as I am. We're all over the moon happy. Okay. We're not doing market parties yet, anything. So we're all like, conference. I think at this point I had 10 people on my team. Wait. No, I didn't. I think I had 7. I think I had 7 people on my team. So she keeps pushing me. I finally said, in my head, I'm just being honest, I was thinking, I'm here to make money, not spend money. And I've always been good at making money and doing it with the least amount of risk and the least amount of debt. Okay. I mean, that's honest to God truth. That's just how I roll. So I was like, I don't want to take, this $5,000 that I've already made off this business and go spend $1,000 on traveling to do this convention thing. So I looked into it, and it actually did have enough Southwest airline points, okay? And back then, we didn't use our credit card very much. Total Dave Ramsey. I don't know if you do Dave Ramsey, but it's one of the best things ever. And I had enough points for one ticket to go to Baltimore. But I still didn't want to go at all. Never flown anywhere by myself. Now I fly to Mexico by myself. I don't care. And go to places where I don't even speak the same language, which is kind of funny if you think about it, and scary. But, got to go to the uncomfortable area to grow. So I said, you know what, I'm going to talk to Brandon and see what he says. And I just knew he would say, you're going to travel to go to a training? I don't think that's a good idea. And I also talked to my mom, who is kind of a pessimist at times. And I was like, she's going to tell me it's stupid, and he's going to tell me not to go. And that's my out. That's what I'm going to say, Okay, well, my husband doesn't want me to go, and he has to be on board. And, my mom even told me it's a bad idea, so I'm not going. So first my mom says, those things are really helpful for businesses like that. Like, they really make a difference in your business, and you learn a ton that you just cannot learn. Can't learn that same amount of information just kind of dabbling in the business. And I'm like, what? So I blew her off. What does she know? She's not in this business. She doesn't do a business like this, so whatever. And so I'll go to Brandon and I ask him, and he's like, oh, I don't care. I'm like, great. So I figure out that I have the free plane ticket, so I'm like, okay, I'll buy the ticket to conference. Cannot believe that P.S. I was like, I cannot believe they are charging people to get in here. We're going to go in there and learn how to increase their sales, their business, and they're going to charge people? That completely blew my mind until I actually got to conference and walked in and experienced it. And I was like, oh, they probably should be charging more than they're charging actually. I just had no idea what to expect, just like a lot of you guys. And I ended up going by myself. I cried on the plane because I was like, what am I doing? I felt like I was literally stealing from my family. If you're the type of parent that all of your money goes towards essentially the family, whether, you're saving up for a family vacation, or you're saving for a new house, or you're saving for this or that, it's in some way, shape, or form, it's going towards your people and your kids and your husband and yourself, and it's benefiting everybody. So I was doing something that was not going to benefit, well, I thought, not going to benefit anybody but myself, and it made me feel really, really bad. I mean, like I said, I cried on the plane, and I was like, what am I doing? Caroline Conlon, also a very great friend of mine, offered for me to stay in her hotel room, and that would save me some money too. So I was like, you know what, everybody's telling me to go. I can go for free pretty much. I need to just go. So I went, and I learned so much. I was like a blogger. I was like texting and messaging, and started a little teeny tiny private group on Facebook, and just anything that I learned, I put it in this group. And my team was super excited about everything I was sharing with them. And my team of, I think, 7 was probably like, why didn't you invite us to this conference? Well, I didn't want to burden them. I didn't want to invite them to a conference and make them spend money when I didn't even believe in it. Then I felt like an idiot for not inviting them. And the next conference after that, I felt so strongly about it. I think we may have brought 50 people with us or something. It was crazy. But when I came home, I was barely a director when I left. Didn't know if I'd ever hit director ever again in the business. Just happy about the moment. And I was actually, if I'm being honest, I think I had just gotten my director check, my first director check. Now, keep in mind, when you get your first check at a lower leadership level and you have a tiny team, your check for your team commissions is not going to be gigantic, but as your team grows, that check is going to grow. So my first director check, you guys, I think was like, I want to say between $150 and $250, but I think I screenshotted it, And I texted to Caroline and I was like, really? I worked way too hard for that. And I kind of blame that for, that mentality is so 2019 mentality. Everybody wants something now and everybody wants something to grow immediately. And, if you have the vision and you look long term and not short term, the way I looked at it, the way I started to look at it from that point forward was I'm actually getting paid while I'm getting trained. So I am slowly learning leadership. I'm slowly learning how to recruit well. I'm slowly learning how to be a better salesperson, how to be a great leader. And I'm blessed because I get paid while I'm doing that. Who gets paid to learn? Not many people. I'm telling you right now, when I went to college, nobody paid me to show up in college. And this pays a heck of a lot better than my college degree job. I have to say that. I think last time I checked, it would take me like a couple lifetimes to make as a dental hygienist what I've made in this business, which really just is insane. So if you hear kids screaming in the background, it's because I'm on vacation with a gazillion 13-year-olds. I'm exhausted, which is why I look like this. And if you've been there before, been there and done that, yes, this is harder than chasing toddlers and babies any day. So anyways, so I came home from convention and I had learned so much. I felt like my hair was on fire. I felt like this is way bigger than I ever imagined. And I was so empowered and not just excited. We all know excitement and belief is a big key factor in this type of business. But I also learned way more than I could have ever learned by watching a training here and there or getting on a Zoom with a couple leaders. It was insane. And I came home and I hit my car bonus. I hit Lexus level, senior director at that time is what we called it, 2 weeks later. And I've never looked back. I quit my job a few months later, and I have a gigantic team now with what I believe is some of the best leadership in internationally in any business across the world in this type of business. I mean, selfless, very, very good at teaching, less preaching, more teaching, which is kind of the way I like to do things. And, we all teach how to do the business, not what you need to do is go get 3 people, but how to go get 3 people. So convention for me, I can 110% tell you there is no way I would be where I am today if I wouldn't have come to my first convention. And if you've already been to a convention, it doesn't matter. You have to keep going. It's like going to one concert one time and saying, that concert was so awesome, but from now on I'll just watch concerts on TV. Not the same. Not the same. You're not going to have the same memories. You're not going to learn as much. You're not going to, it's just not the same. So I really, somebody asked me, they texted me and said, hey, can you make a video about your first conference? And I thought, yeah, I sure can, but it's probably going to be a little bit different than what people are used to seeing. But my point is, I hate to say this, but I don't hate to say it at the same time. If you want to make money, sometimes the hard truth is you have to spend some money. If you want to play with the big dogs and make a lot of money and do big things with this business, or even semi-big things. If you know, Aaron, you're not talking to me. I only want to make like $1,500 to $2,000 a month. I'm talking to you. If that's what you want to do, you have to invest in your business and be smart. Save all your receipts, talk to your accountant. Everything is a write-off. You're not paying taxes throughout the year. Most likely you're paying at the end. And you need to make adjustments to all of that by having all of the losses you took through the year. And that's going to help counteract a lot of the taxes that you're going to pay. So it's absolutely worth it. And if you really want to maximize growth on your team, you don't just commit to going and only worry about yourself. You actually figure it out and you bring a couple handfuls of people with you and split rooms and bring food and split food and figure out ways to come and spend the least amount of money and learn the most amount of information in the shortest period of time you've ever seen. So I hope to see all of your all's faces there. I hope you take this serious and understand that if you know me at all, or maybe you don't know me, but one of your friends knows me that's in this business, I would never make a video about convention if I didn't really believe in it. For one thing, my face would actually tell you I didn't believe in it. And as big of an inconvenience, even for me, as it is to come to conference. I mean, I have to line up sitters the whole week. My husband has to be at work every morning at 6 a.m. So God bless him, but he does not get the kids to school or get them off the bus. It is a huge undertaking, and I have to schedule out every minute, and I will do it for every convention until I'm no longer here, because it means that much. And I'll take as many people with me and push as many people to convention as possible every time. So if you have anybody, if you're going to convention, you're like, oh, this video is good, thank you, but I'm going. You need to send it to people. You need to immediately copy and paste and send it to people, because people need to see this and they need to hear this so they can understand that it's not some extra optional whatever, you don't really have to go kind of thing. It is absolutely a game changer for your business. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope to meet every single one of you guys very soon.